I had someone wrote me and said, you know what? I don't want to be in no church that have do's and don't. The Bible don't teach do's and don'ts. Man, you's a nut that don't. If the Bible is not a book of do's and don't, then why are we having so many problems?
That's right.
The Bible speaks plain.
That's right.
Don't only be a hearer, but be what?
A doer.
From Genesis to Revelation,
Doer of the word.
the whole book consists of do's and don'ts.
That's right.
The entire book.
That's right.
He laid that, after he made man and woman, he put a law in the garden that consists of do's and don'ts.
That's right.
One tree, as you touch that, don't.
Don't.
The others, freely eat. Do.
Do.
If you touch it, you'll die.
That's right.
The whole book itself
That's right.
is a rule book
Rule book.
of do's and don'ts.
That's right.
The modern so-called Christian community, and I've heard them say this, even some of the so-called gospel artists that sing. They was interviewing Kirk Franklin one day, I believe on The View. And they asked him, what do you think the problem with churches today? And he said, the problem with church today is too many rules.
My Lord.
In church.
My Lord.
He said it shouldn't be all these rules. Just let the people worship God. Worship is centered around rules laid by God how he want to be worshiped.
In the book of Proverbs, chapter 4 and verse 4.
You ever heard of no rules?
No rules.
A church with no rules is not a church.
That's right.
Listen,
Proverbs chapter 4
even
and
the
verse 4.
street got rules.
Oh, yes.
If you ever was in a gang, every gang got rules.
Yeah.
A club got rules. You don't believe me? Once that bouncer get a hold of you, you broke somebody's rule.
That's right.
Even a prostitute got rules. Pay first. Pay first. What are you talking?
That's right.
So they don't mind the street having rules, but this has crept in churches.
Oh, yes.
Where members and even preachers and so-called Christians are saying, we should worship God with no rules. You ain't even that devil got rules.
That's right. Let us walk by the same rule.
Do you hear the Bible?
In the book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 16.
Hear me, world, hear this.
Nevertheless, whereunto we have already attained.
Let us walk. Let us walk.
By the same rule.
And do what?
Let us mind the same thing. That's right.
I came from the hood. Man, the hood had rules.
Oh, yeah.
When they used the term fair one, that means the old heads would get two young bloods and let them mix it up. Nobody was allowed to pull out no gun. Nobody was allowed to pull out no straight razor. Nobody was allowed to pull out any blade. The old heads, all right, y'all young bloods, come on, mix it up. We get out there and mix it up. And the old heads stood and watched and make sure it was a fair one, meaning a fair fight.
That's right.
Nobody was taking out 38s and Glocks and all that stuff, turning to the side, shooting you. No.
That's right.
Best man won. When the fight was over, you went back playing ball. If you think you will serve the Lord as a so-called Christ-like man or woman with no rules, then the God of heaven you have never served and never will.
That's right.
In the days of old, he gave rules so strict they were called the Ten Commandments.
That's right.
Let's read this quickly, son.
That's right.
Moses was up on a mountain. And Moses was up there so long, Israel went up, they was playing and acting like a fool.
Yeah.
But God gave Moses a set of rules.
In the book of Exodus, chapter 20, we'll start at verse 10.
Hear this.
But the seventh day is in the Sabbath of the Lord thy God.
Yes.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
What?
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Any work. Thou
shalt not do
shall not do.
any work.
That means no natural work. When you observed the Sabbath in the days of old, you couldn't do no natural work, whether it was cut the grass, pluck ears of corn, milk the cow. You couldn't do no natural work at all.
That's right.
And we're going to show you the rules in the New Testament once he finished that in the 5th chapter of the book of Galatians.
That's
All right, son.
In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou shalt not know thy son nor thy daughter.
Wait, listen at the language of the Bible. What did it say?
In it thou shalt not do
Thou
any
shalt
work.
not.
Thou shalt not. N-O-T.
There you go. That's the
N-O-T.
don'ts.
That's right.
Thou shalt not.
Thou shalt not do any work.
Don't do any work.
Thou,
Nor
thy son,
nor thine son,
nor thy daughter,
your daughter,
thy manservant,
your manservant,
nor thy maidservant,
and
nor thy cattle,
your cattle.
nor thy stranger.
Don't
that is
even let the
within thy
cattle
gates.
work.
That's right.
Make the cattle observe it.
That's right.
And
For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is,
Yes.
and rested the seventh day.
all right,
Now down at verse 12.
let's get the commandments here.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Honor thine father and thy mother.
That thy day-
That's a do.
Right.
First he brought up a don't.
That's right.
Shall not.
Shall not.
Now here's a do.
Honor thy father and thy mother,
Honor your father and mother
that thy days may be long upon the earth,
so you can keep living.
that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Yes.
Thou shalt not.
That now he's back at a not now.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not kill.
Don't kill nobody.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Don't commit adultery with nobody.
Thou shalt not steal.
Don't steal nothing.
Thou
That
shalt-
goes for you that go to the supermarket and walk by that big bin of candy. You just take it at will and just, you see an orange, you decide to eat while you shop.
That's right.
Ain't pay for nothing, didn't get no receipt. You old undercover thief.
That's right.
You a thief, I said.
That's a thief.
We don't look at that as a thief. They say, well, Pastor Jennings, it was a small thing. The Bible said if you can't judge a small matter, how can you judge a large?
That's right.